Good morning. This is Falcon's Frontier. It's for the journey. Our intentions here with Mr. Newton to recall our C1 spirit and journey on through to the latest addition to the verse, the next system. We'll explore Levski, Delamar, and catch the light as we go deeper and deeper in moments of reflection and solitude. So, without further ado, let's begin. Let's recall our C1.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System.
There.
Your vehicle has been pleased visitors again.
The emergence of the exceptional C1 spirit here in the very comfortable AeroView hangar. As always, Falcon's Frontier is humbled to have you aboard on this little expedition that we have here. Just trying to capture moments in solitude. Again, we're intending to increase our frequency of presentations. Let's journey on up and out. Here, interstellar spaceport. Head over to the next system. Let's see what we can see. Remarkable C1 spirit. Board the sleek lines of this very elegant corporate workhorse. This is ourselves, the cockpit of the C1, and journey on over. So with systems enabled, let's request our departure. See if we can catch the... This was a medium hangar, and we open into dusk. Let's close the outer doors. Into New Babbage. Impressive sights and sounds in dusk here over New Babbage. Interstellar spaceport. Let's journey on up. Aim for dark skies. And see what we can see. So with that, let's engage the quantum. There, Port Tressler in the distance. Let's increase. Systems and speeds and watch. As we depart the interstellar spaceport, we will be covering more in and around New Babbage on the journey, exploring more light spaces. It's certainly going to be a very engrossing experience. always a treat to observe New Babbage, the cities and spaces in and around all the planets here in the Stanton system, the outposts in the Pyro system. We can see now we've increased our speed, and obviously Levski. Predation knows no bounds. Such a unique ambiance, especially when the sound of the super cruise mode resonates with the ship and the nighttime environment. Five-minute journey. Traverse away on the planets here. It certainly does go out of the way of our journey. Of the cluster of Stanton planets. We have a 5-minute wait to reach the X gateway. Rather exciting being able to observe this latest addition to the ever-evolving verse. So we're roughly halfway to the gateway. Let's refer to the map. It was an impressive exercise in fidelity and detail, focus, and accomplishment. Now, so have a look. The further we zoom out, we can see just how far. There's the Pyro Gateway, so it's in and around some of the stations not too far from our core. The next gateway. A great distance now coming into our journey. We will be doing some cargo missions, making sure we get our AUAC. Hopefully, we want to upgrade to the Mercury Star Runner.
Quantum fuel, 50%.
So as we can see, our QT fuel is decreasing somewhat. So we've got 15 gigameters remaining. Don't want a chance leaving the seed. Sometimes one can clip through the ship hull itself, be cast into the ever void, and we'd rather we made sure that we were secure in our pilot seat here in the remarkable C1 Spirit. So you see this QT drive now spooling down. We're coming ever closer to the next gateway. First time for Falcon's Frontier to see the next gateway.
Quantum travel complete.
Remarkable.
Quantum travel
So
complete.
we can see the jump point detected. Things are coming in and out of space. There's the jump point. There's the pathway. We might do is, I think, shouldn't be a problem. We'll just simply head on through. Such a remarkable space, these jump points, especially the kind of sceneries that are around, jumping through to Pyro, and obviously the impressive way in which these jump gates are so fully featured. They're all there. Individual facilities, utilities. There we have the jump point. The immense, engrossing structures that are part of the journey here. Seems like the pathway is available, making sure that we don't strike. And there we have the next gateway. locked in. We're ready to transition. And there we have. Was an impressive sight. Immense distances, wormholes, catching the light, making sure that we don't strike the edges. Was an impressive thing to see. Riding the hyperlight.
Quantum fuel, 95%.
There, the exit to the next system. Huge journey complete. And here we are. Okay, marvelous. Very impressive. Let's try and perhaps touch down and replenish some quantum fuel, or just head directly to Levski. We do have docking facilities and vehicle services available. Obviously, everything at Levski is naturally going to be available, so let's complete the routing. Calibrate. Let's have a look outside. Immense distances covered. Sitting in a humble C1 spirit. A cozy surround of our trusty ship, taking us to yet a Vulcan's frontier, the explored realms. Levski inbound. Oh,
Quantum travel complete.
game very impressive. The first thing that's really striking is the obvious view of the countless asteroids that are part of this place. Make sure that we coast in, aware of our surroundings, but again, some deep moments in reflection. A good few points where we can just take our time and absorb. This latest space. Definitely try to get into a closer space, see if we can try and experience the ambience. That's another excellent sight, seeing the C1's hull, a viewing window, bands and asteroids cast out and around. Levski, so our first intention is to land here or have a exploration. There's Nyx itself. It's the huge, imposing structures. Really, another practice in scale.
Shields on.
There we have. Hollowed out asteroid, practice in creativity, imagination, all culminating to this very impressive visual experience. Definite exercise in scale, really appreciating to get ever closer. It's more like the Total Recall style trusses that were the subterranean canyons on Mars. But here we are, somewhere totally different. The outer space. Than the inner space. Very impressive. Making sure that the ships, the proximity that we won't collide with, and there we have the classic view. Hope is here. A classic space, that Levski feeling, brought to us such a high degree in fidelity. Landing pads, spaces, gain the intricate detail, always spectacular. Exercise, always a spectacular display of what's possible in these creative worlds. Try and drop the gear
Down.
so we can... Okay. Conduits, pipes, spaces, ore extraction, cargo delivery. All a mega practice. These impressive vistas somewhere out in the depth and the void, amongst the fragments of space and time. So what we'll do now is see if we could request a landing clearance and have a look. Cargo. And we have a 200-second wait. I think we'll have some time to actually disembark, stand on one of these platforms perhaps, just observe the silent space, the huge vistas, and the quiet stillness. Lots of screenshot moments, lots of intricate detail. Apologies somewhat if we pan too quickly, but there's a lot to absorb. Can tell they've worked pretty hard on developing all this. And can visualize creative capacity, a dream to which we can all kind of, in our own way, aspire to create. Patrons in the verse moving to and fro. I think a bit on the late side. I'm not sure if it's our hangar door has closed. No, we're still going. See a bit of a lag. See network activity. There, just under Hope is here. Let's not collide with any struts. So our gear is deployed. First time for Vulcan's Frontier to see to revisit Levski. He's impressive. Oh. Yep. A bit too late. Try to pan a bit slow, we'll reduce the resolution. Panning as the doors open. We come in to a very different style hangar. Okay, we're ready to touch down. Let's have a look outside. Gradually make our way onto the ground. The imposing rock structures that make up the hangar, integrated as part of the asteroid, really adds to the fidelity. You can also feel the musty air, the air thick with mined particles. The air filtration systems don't seem to be working. You can see the fan above the exit point not rotating, so you are indeed in a place for a bit of a long journey from Microtech. Let us now, nearly a 40-minute journey to arrive here in Levski. Let's open the door. And have a, at least from Falcon's perspective, an Armstrong moment. Certainly what's imposing in around this space are the impressive structures, the cargo lifts, the logistics, all built into the dusty, particle, rocky structures that make up this spectacular location. So, what we'll do, more Hope is here messages. Crusader, job well done. Crusader has allowed us to journey all the way from Microtech for an epic journey here in Levski. Let's head on through. You can almost feel the industrial nature this place. Let's watch the mechanic storing the vehicle.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System. Your vehicle pays visitors
It's uniquely impressive to have reoccurring elements and just to address those elements with different environments allows for some impressive potentialities, especially allowing one to obviously recreate these environments, a different feel, a different essence to them. Have now Levski, the lights enabled, hangar services, very different to the AeroView hangar. But do remember the lifts, so let's call the elevator. And head up. And unfortunately, let's see. We've got a repositioning player, so have we entered a private? Unfortunately, have we entered a private dwelling? Let's see what's happened. Okay, looks like I don't think we're to be in a location. This is very much new to this, but it's mechanic, but it seems to have repositioned us. And we have been repositioned successfully. I thought that was it. I thought we were going to be out. It's not over yet. Still loading. Yes, and here we have the revisit. So we're back in Levski. It's quite heavy. Looks like the loading is more or less complete. Yes, the loading is complete, and there we have the classic statue. We are indeed in Levski, with some small anomalies which we won't pay much attention to, but we've arrived successfully in a place that is befit with nostalgia. Very impressive, as always, so let's have a wander and see what we can see. So let's experience. Just had a small problem with microphone, but we can see as we appreciate detail. Let's have a look. The statue that was there very beginning all those years ago. Anthony Tanaka. Very different scene outside this view compared to what it was before. But again, Bellamar, the classic Levski system, the station to which is part of this impressive visual splendor, display, excellence, and ambiance. Hasn't changed much in its location, but are able now to appreciate it is now returned. Again, a practice in depth and details. So what we'll do is get a good view from beyond Levski, and perhaps what we'll do is we'll take the ship out and do an EVA, see if we can stand on some of the spaces and absorb impressive silence, vast, engrossing vistas that are part of this journey here. But again, such a different feel compared to even Lorville. This is a true industrial space. Mercy Hospital. So we've got the pharmacy and more impressive locations, looking at the rays of light coming through.
Attention all staff. Lockdown protocol is now in effect. Please secure all patient areas. Flu season is here. Staff and patients are encouraged to get vaccinated.
And we can see now, just having a moment in silence, we can see these vast spaces, especially with the rays of light coming through the slats, the open spaces. It's this huge structure. More delivery points. But again, it's a remarkable practice in another style, another structure.
Security toward Echo 9. Repeat, security toward Echo 9.
Another practice in style and approach as we watch the verse continue to evolve. It's not accessible down there. Let's continue on. Let's see the very flimsy barriers here. The Mercy Hospital. So everything is more or less no nonsense. Lots more rubbish. A little bit like, suppose, Hurston over and Lorville, with the industrial rubbish, barrels, printers, chairs, lights, containers, but again, all done with such a high degree of attention to detail. hydraulic arms, spaces. So let's have a look now. We are going to have a moment where we go into the Crusade Industries C1 Spirit, have an EVA, and see if we can find some vistas. But again, such a revisit. Unfortunately, our introduction to Levski wasn't a comfortable reveal. It was more so a balanced, was a sudden reveal. And obviously, that's a challenge somewhat when we're trying to create dramatic entrances, but Nick's in the distance, venting these remarkable spaces. So let's have a look now and head down to the lower levels. Let's see what's beyond there, if we can. There we have the classic lift. It's always an impressive sight. See the lift system operate. And we have Barter. So, coming down on the lift now, we emerge into the Barter area. And the vistas that are on offer are truly a practice in fidelity, detail, kind of multi-layered approach. There's so many layers which really do offer kind of fidelity that is rare, in fact, offering a true sense, whether you want to explore, whether you want to engage in activities, both peaceful or otherwise. You have the impressive visual fidelity that is always part of the journey. So let's have a wander through here. Great viewing section here, viewing window. So lots of little nooks and crannies, spaces, and environments to explore. Definitely find a good location here. Really get a sense of the place in terms of its size, scale, relevant to ourselves. Let's continue on. Industrial rubbish, unattended spaces, broken terminals. The only activity in the distance. A small debris spaceships going to and fro, and those venting gases. Those venting industrial venting happening in the distance. So let's continue on and see what other things we can see. So we're going to continue on now from this area. I think quite a lot of spaces to explore, even through the asteroid itself. Let's go through. The individual sounds in the distance. Really taking it upon a new ambience. No ventilation systems operating. It's important to have respiratory protection, much like Lorville over on Hurston. Let's journey on through, see what we can experience. I'm purposely not expressing or trying to be too heavy on the commentary. Just trying to take in the sights and the sounds. So let's head over to the Grand Barter market. I remember the Grand Barter. Quite a hustle and a bustle here.
But I get what you mean.
I wonder indeed what's over there. Another utility shop. Armor, munitions. But again, it's certainly very impressive. Mustn't pass the opportunity to observe the products that are on offer as we wander into and through these spaces. Right, there's certainly quite an extensive location here. So it's a shop, more spaces, and it's just a wonderful practice in just exploration. But let's continue on, see what other spaces we can resolve. But again, Oriental style cooking here. Spaces that are in through and part of a bustling market space, such was the memory of Levski and the Grand Barter before this taken down for renovation. I just feel like absorbing every last morsel of detail and excellence that is always part of the verse here. So little some items, bric-a-brac, toys, plushies. So you get a gist of what's actually part of the market barter here. Tools, utilities, multi-tools, but attaching, mining, attaching, attachments, mining gadgets. So lots of tools, lots of supplies, also naturally because of the nature of the work here in Levski, deep in the core of this huge asteroid. What we'll do now is head on through the exploration here in the Grand Barter. Oops. Let's go to the cafe. And just the whole dynamic essence of what being in these very inclusive, very stylized environments allows one to experience a level of immersion and fidelity that is obviously quite unique to Star Citizen, quite unique to the verse, and obviously in various other instances there's a different approach, more so in the essence, in the detail, rather just a focus on grinding away. That is the essential aspect, the play or the interaction philosophy, play philosophy in this environment. It's more a journey rather than objectives. So we have weapons here, and you're more than welcome to fulfill those objectives. Volk's Frontier will be doing that. As we have a look and trying to do those objectives, whether it be engaging mercenary combat. It's part of the journey, as always. It wouldn't be the verse without it. But Volk's Frontier's main focus is a journey in consignments, delivery, mining and salvaging. Trading as one of the main focus here, but we've got such a huge array of weapons, grenades, pens as well, all there to protect you from the uncertainties and the unforgiving black. Coffee, but no coffee machine. The machine does work? Doubt it. Express coffee, not yet active. Those coffee machines still not enabled, even out here. So let's buy a coffee. be able to store it. Fortunately, I don't have the equipment. I haven't upgraded. I don't have the armor sets that I usually have. So, obviously, we need to get those. So, let's remove the helmet and have some coffee. Make sure we place the coffee cup. You see, I should have actually sat down and had a coffee there. But, let's get rid of our coffee can. First Java was important. Running slightly low on hydration, so we had a can of Java. Let's go ahead and explore more areas here in the verse. Let's feel the essence and kind of, even now I removed a helmet, a musty style, kind of dusty. An atmosphere thick with industry, the kind of essence and fragrance that you'd get when you're walking through a cave. It's cool yet granite style, highly gritty, almost the scent of the compression, I suppose, coming through the high-level compressive style essence of a place that is a structure that is cast into the eternal void. Not to mention, not to obviously forget, this eternal void is mixed with the rusty elements of some of the components now that are in and around this space that have just rusted away. So it's a mixture of rust, dust, shadows, compression, and the essence of the cold and solid structures that are interwoven here in the tapestry of this yet additional and unique, specific point here in the verse. The characteristics here in the Levski system, or the Nick system, characteristics of Levski. That's, I recall, a object in the original Levski, this huge rotating fan, rotating ventilation shaft, not doing much. There as a showpiece. Be good to have our imprint just in case something happens, and it would require quite a journey from New Babbage. I'm thinking about New Babbage as a juxtaposition between sleek, crisp, luxurious lines over in New Babbage. The stark industrial reality here over in Levski. Well, we certainly didn't want to be. There's a multicolored rock formation here. I'm not sure if that's a graphical anomaly. Again, more rusty fragrances. A sort of limey, cast granite style fragrance you get. You simply draw a rock and try to determine it's an indistinguishable yet unique fragrance. You get when you're walking in amongst eternal cave structures, caves, eternal underground systems. Oh, this looks rather interesting. Let's have a look. The borehole station, ventilation system, so let's have a look. And there's the more of an active space here. Huge industrial piping, taking coolant, venting, mostly venting. Obviously these are venting spaces, pipes to ensure the heavy concentrations rock mining byproducts are filtered successfully from this space. Okay, so let's now head on through. Yeah, one can just spend hours upon hours just trying to get a real sense of the incredible depth, especially here, even in this location. You've got the structure, pins, the electrical conduits. You have the open spaces. And you have a pathway deeper into the core of Levski. Interactive digital imagination. Part of the journey here. Let's continue. Certain spaces can really represent a screenshot moment. You can see the active ventilation systems, the main fan. One has to really be conscious of an effective ventilation solution to ensure the active functionality of an environment. That is the focus in industry. The main focus is obviously extracting the best from this nugget of precious resource cast to the eternal void. Notice sign panning speed in some instances, and then panning slowly. I may get lost as the relationship between what I'm seeing and how we can appreciate where we are, get somewhat distracted by the impressive elements and visual splendors that are part of Levski here and the verse. So, False Frontier probably apologizes if there's any, if we pan fast or miss something, or pan past something at speed. We'll get there. So let's head on down. We've got more steps heading on down, deeper into Levski. We have organic material emanating from the rocks. Not wearing a helmet at the moment, so you can really get a whiff of the clear and rock that is saturated with both water, liquid, dust, a real test for the lungs. The map on the top left is showing that, not showing a further map pathway, but we are being led and directed by the stairs. So we could see a fully functioning environment. Definitely a borehole space. Definitely a space that is quite remarkable. Deep into the void, into the beyond the protective, providing that minimal protection. A rickety yet purposeful platform structure around the internal structure here of the asteroid. Well, it's about 1 hour and 19 minutes since we introduced our journey with the C1 as we cast ourselves up into and through on a journey here to the remarkable Levski, a practice in what can be possible, and the level of the detail and work that has evolved and has now become part of their latest edition several years later. Let's recall the lift and see if we can head back on up. Can we go lower, or are we at the lowest? Yes. So let's go to the upper floor. It was a spectacular sight seeing. Oh no, that doesn't show us there. So let's head on through. Conduits and pipes, layers, and that's the borehole entry ventilation station. That's quite a spectacular location. I can sit down there. reflect, absorb, and contemplate. But what we'll do now is try and find a location. Perhaps location that is synonymous with what defines Levski, what defined Levski before, and what defines it now. So let's head on through and explore, try and go to the lobby and see what we can conclude with on this little exploration here. Moments of both light commentary silence. Barter Market. So another place here, the entry point, the Grand Barter, that opening. So what we'll do, and there's the sign. So let's see what we can uncover as we continue on through here. I think we've been to the cafe. Have we been to the cafe? Little routes and spaces, little journeys, little pathways. And here is that famous marketplace, I think, where you met contact over on this table here. Discuss missions, I believe. Nooks and crannies, spaces, make up the verse here, cars somewhere in the system. It's a remarkable mechanic where you're able to just explore, sit down, see what can be seen, experience. Someone taking...
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Alliance only.
Someone taking guard on a restricted doorway. The ingenious ways into which parts of these spaces are either closed off with either a story or a guard or some construction materials blocking the doorway, just giving that overbearing sense of realism. This was part of the narrative in these environments. They just provide you with that essence, core of being in an environment that always brings about a narrative that expresses a sense of realism and maintains that realism wherever you are. these virtual environments, especially with the verse. So what we'll do now is we'll head on down, make sure that we operate not too quickly, just taking note, not too fast or too slow, just enough. Level of immersion and absorption. It's part of the journey here. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll see if we can go to exit the main area here. We do remember that structure. Before the intricate structure, it's a huge fan ventilation system. It's the entrance to this location. Let's continue. Again, either whether you look up or you look down, you look at the details, side paneling. It all is a excellent exercise in just a continuous stream of interesting spaces, lights, sounds, an assault, gastronomic feast to the eyes, an assault on the senses, essence, the style and function of immersion. And here we have it. So that's the main entrance, the core, the entrance, and we can see the tone here in Levski is keeping it balanced. No radical behavior, no rebellions, hope, peace, and a sense of calm. Even though the environment itself doesn't represent that. It represents an industrious space, a space of work, of strength. Not necessarily disorder, but a place that is purely focused on one single objective. To complete trade and journeys, refinement, and the ever engrossing space here as we revisit this impressive station, resurrected once more and placed back into the continuing, evolving verse. It's just a continual assault on where to look, where to see, and the detail is exceptional. That's part of the journey here. I was talking about the philosophy. The philosophy is not in the... It's in the doing of it rather than the grinding of it. And that's part of the journey here with Focus Frontier. Appreciating the light spaces, the moments, and the essence that defines what it is to be part of in imagination, and how that imagination relates to our own sense of creativity, what can be lived, what can be envisaged, and how, in fact, that all connects into our ability to dream. And what better way to protect those dreams than the digital medium? That is, creating worlds on which we can envisage, and a medium that allows us to visualize them in the highest possible fidelity. So what we'll do now is we'll try and find a location. It's the cargo services. We've also got the supplies control room, refinery, obviously. It was a spectacular sight. Remember from the previous station, looking out whilst the lift was closing and the various doors were shutting down, and the lift was moving from station, from floor to floor, gained sight of the world beyond from the windows, and particularly in the elevator. It was quite impressive. So what we'll do now is we'll try and find a location. I think what better way to end on the location than to... We've got a small solitary chair here. Although having a look beyond and outside is also a good viewpoint as well to conclude our little journey here today. Well, a lot to explore and a lot to see. We'll continue our exploration here at Levski. We've got a couple of more floors to explore, and then we'll take the C1 land on various spaces. We'll also do some cargoing, some missions, ensuring that we can increase our funds and get what we need in order to be present, particularly getting the Mercury Star Runner. Well, a practice in silence, like commentary, just absorbing and exploring the verse here, and the latest system, the Nix, and obviously the Levski installation. A true exercise in fidelity brought into wonderful realization as we watch the ever-increasing development of Star Citizen. We wait, obviously, with the Citizen Con Direct, the Genesis module, the effect that'll have on the biomes, especially the increasing systems, the effect on the pre-existing systems such as Microtech, systems that are going to be brought into effect as we watch in awe and wonder at these digital, at these products of our unbound ability to create. Well, this about concludes our journey now, but we'll resume our journey from here specifically. Fox Frontier hopes you've enjoyed the journey, a practice in exploration, wonder in ambience. But for now, and until next time, this is Falcon's Frontier, wishing you a safe onward journey. Until next time, keep inspired, and goodbye for now.